never seen it before from the air, and in just a few minutes more, from a high wire.
As the saying goes, the time is now. Time for Daredevil Nik Wallenda to take to the wire and do what no one else would dare. Step by step by step. Suspended 200 feet in the air over Niagara Falls. That's 20 stories high. That's a long, long way down. 700,000 gallons of water thundering below. Blinding thick mist, winds gusting, and all in the dark of night. No one has ever attempted anything like this, and for good reason. Who would?
People say I'm insane all the time, but they don't understand that I love what I do.
Well, you're looking at him. He was born for this night. His chance to honor his family name and the legend of his great-grandfather, who tragically lost his life in a fall. Right now, all the world is watching and wondering, will he or won't he make it?
You know, there's a million things that can go wrong.
10, 9, 8. Hold your breath. 5, 4. The heart-pounding event. 3, 2, 1. Start now. This is High Wire over Niagara Falls. Live now from Niagara Falls, Hannah Storm and Josh Elliott.
The collective breath held, the collective heart pounding out of our chest. Take a look at that high above Niagara Falls as perhaps you have never seen it before, in part because there is a 2-inch wire strung from the U.S. side over here to Canada, where Hannah Storm and I find ourselves.
Are you getting nervous?
Pick your adjective. I can't even accurately frame it. Jaw-dropping, terrifying, dare I say impossible. It's up to you, again, as a fever pitch arrives here and the crowd is just beginning to realize on both sides of the border, a crowd well in excess now, 100,000 people, millions more watching all around the globe, that a man is going to climb atop a wire 3 pennies in diameter, walk 1/3 of a mile over that.
Something that has never been done before, once in a generation stunt, and some unexpected last-minute changes here at Niagara that we have to tell you about. Engineers had to change Nik Wallenda's walking wire earlier today. There's also a drenched section of the wire. As you've seen, he's prepared. He's ready to go ahead with the stunt. An unprecedented stunt just over 10 minutes away. It is now being done in full darkness. And as we await over the Canadian side of the falls, a look at Nik, that 38-pound balance pole that he will carry gingerly and hopefully into history. And this graphic may help you visualize what we're looking at. The water in Niagara Falls is basically the Great Lakes headed for the ocean. The big falls behind us, that's Horseshoe Falls, the iconic Horseshoe Falls. America on the left of your screen, Canada on the right. Wallenda's wire stretching a distance, imagine this, of about 4 football fields.
And we will watch the whole walk, every step of the way, over 1,500 feet without a single commercial. Every conceivable angle we have for you, cameras above, to the sides, even inside the falls, even a camera that will trace his path alongside the wire.
And over there standing by on the U.S. side is Bill Weir. Bill, what's the scene like there right now?
Hannah, I got to tell you, I can't get over just how calm, cool, and collected this cat is on this wire. We were, chatting earlier. He was telling me about how he's getting good luck tweets from the likes of David Blaine. We were talking about his high school football days. Everybody up here is white-knuckled on the scissor lift except Nik Wallenda, but he has been harnessed in. We've gotten the okay from the safety inspector. One of his best friends, Chris Rippo, is here. He's going to physically hold on to the wire for him because, man, this thing has a lot of play in it. And it'll only get trickier as he gets over the mist at the bottom of the drop. Sam?
Bill, I gotta
to tell you, I'm getting a little concerned here. We're watching all the weather instruments that we've got hanging on the wire there. And it's not the wind speed that's concerning us. We've really got a wind speed that's anywhere from 4 to 9 miles per hour. But it's the wild swinging, the spiraling of that wind. And take a look at this mist. This is the thickest pocket of water that we have seen come off the falls since we've been here in 2 days setting up for this event. And I'm concerned that he will not be able to see very much at all as he gets into this very wet zone right over the roughest water of the falls. It has been so much preparation, so much, it's just a setup for this. And it all comes down to one man and one very wet, misty wire just minutes from now. Josh, Hannah?
Thanks, Sam. Countless variables to account for. An algorithm that grows more complicated by the moment. A once-in-a-lifetime event. You should all now settle in to behold, because this is now it. And looking at it tonight in all the splendor and really terror of those images, not only the dark, not only that 20-story drop, but the fact that they've had to add that extra pendulum on the wire just hours ago because the wire was still jostling too much to, in fact, walk upon it. The fact that that wire, as you see there in the wet zone, drenched, literally dripping, and suddenly this starts to feel more by the second impossible.
One man.
My entire life has prepared me to walk across Niagara Falls.
One wire.
I know I can walk that wire.
One chance to get it right.
The sound, the roar of it is intimidating.
Tonight, it's Nick over Niagara as he chases a lifelong dream.
Niagara Falls, when you look at it, there's nothing to compare it to. It's so large. The magnitude is just amazing.
The only thing standing in Melinda's way, Niagara's fury and 1,500 feet of cable.
We're playing with Mother Nature, and Mother Nature has a mind of her own.
Niagara's famous curving crest is called Horseshoe Falls, where every second more than 700,000 gallons of water crashes to the earth. If ever there was a guy who could use a lucky horseshoe, it's Nick Wallenda.
Nobody has ever walked as close as Nick Wallenda's going to walk to the falls. You have a lot of swirling winds at the Horseshoe Falls. You have mist that goes in every other direction.
People have said, well, are you going to do anything when you get out to the middle? Yeah, I'm going to be battling the wind and the sound and the mist. That's what I'm going to be doing.
Wallenda will attempt to block out those whirling images below and the thoughts swirling inside his own head.
What happens if you fall? How are you going to save yourself? You're going to lose your family. They're going to lose you. They need you.
Nick's done the best he can to simulate the extreme conditions of the falls.
38 miles an hour! 40 miles an hour!
He had fire trucks spray him with water while an airboat blasted high winds in his face. A wind this man is all too familiar with.
It's extremely difficult for us to fly the helicopter down in and around the falls itself.
Captain Kevin Caffrey runs the aviation unit for the Erie County Sheriff's Office.
The chances of surviving are pretty slim if he fell actually from that distance.
Nick's plan is to start on the American side of the falls and walk across a steel cable the equivalent of 4 football fields. If all goes as planned, he'll end up in Canada.
I don't know what they're going to say about me 100 years from now, but it's got to be pretty impressive.
Niagara Falls. They call this place beautiful, stunning. They've called this daredevil less complimentary names.
People say I'm insane all the time, but they don't understand that I love what I do.
Again, a few moments ago, a very emotional moment here, Nick and his family saying their group prayer, and then their goodbyes. This is a Wallenda ritual before any big stunt, again, dating back generations upon generations. And yes, his children, as you see there, Yanni, Amadeus, and little Levita, will watch the whole stunt. They have been watching their parents wire walk since they were all in diapers. The family now hustling over by boat to the Canadian side so they can be there to wrap their father, their husband, with hugs and love when he arrives on this side of the falls.
Can you imagine what that would be like to watch your dad do this? As Nick and his family know exactly what he faces tonight. Look at his walk, which essentially is broken up into different zones, each of them with its own challenges. The first challenge is he has chosen to walk from America to Canada is the descent. This is one of the most stressful times. He does not like to walk downwards, and it is a downhill slope of 5 to 6 degrees. He says it's like going downstairs. If you fall downwards, you fall down off that wire.
And then what we're getting to is that increasingly nerve-wracking spot of this walk, the wet zone. It is less steep, but it's when he is out over the falls. He moves out over that lip, looking 20 stories down, and visibility and wind issues will become paramount. He will arrive to the valley, essentially the midway point, that central area closest to the water. The give of the wire itself will have him some 35 feet lower than where he began. It is there where he might find the most movement in the wire. They were trying to fix that again. That is why they added that extra pendulum late this morning in an effort to keep it from rolling on him.
He's really going to have to change the rhythm of his steps. After that, the climb, he will collect himself for what may be his biggest challenge at the final test, and one can only imagine how he will be feeling. His arms, his neck, his entire body trembling from carrying that balance pole, his legs under tremendous stress as they will start that final climb uphill to Canada and into history.
It is a walk he will begin, putting his whole future on the line, walking for himself, his family's legacy, and a place in the record books, a place in history. 200 feet over Niagara Falls. Go nowhere.
These orders won't stop.
Well, more and more people are bundling their home and auto insurance